I'm back. Let me just find some good sounds and then I'm gonna switch to the chat, so I'm gonna see who's here already. Eternal Mind Architecture, Atmospheric something. Yeah, for the beginning. So, how are you guys? Ooh, morning 23, morning Logan. You guys working something, on something, programming, and so on? Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you. I think that it's working, but I created a playtest for the game. Let me just see if I have enough keys. Logan, if you would be able to check it out. And 23, whenever you guys have time. Working on Sniper Elite. That's a game, huh? With slow-mo kills and so on. Let me see, I gotta go on live. Here we go. I know that there's a lot of bugs that we have to polish, but still, if you're going to be taking some like notes to yourself and maybe then send them to me if you encounter something very weird, that'd be very helpful, man. Otherwise, how can I private message you? How's this? No. If I click on your name, Prime, no. Notifications, whispers, aha. Whispers, okay. Just a second. Try out the, what is it called? Like this, and now I have to find Logan. Burak Dotto, good morning. How's it going? Like this. And now I have to add another key here. Oh, I've made like 10 keys for testing. So yeah, still have to figure out how I'm going to distribute them and to who. But yeah. Thanks, Logan. Thanks for pinning the message. So yes, today was quite productive day, we have to say. 3 enemies, no, 5 enemies, but 3 of them are very similar, just different configs, but that's okay. And what we can do is we can take a look where we're going to continue today. I think that we have to finish the loop as soon as possible. And by that I mean we have to create a condition that from Cavernous Depths we can go straight to the Frozen Peaks. And then in the Frozen Peaks we're going to have like... Oh man, I don't know how much I should spoil on stream. That's now one sad thing. But I have to work on it, you know, guys. Okay. Anyway. Basically, the main objective is going to be that you have to get to one thing and interact with it. But how you're going to interact and the end slides, I mean the end text and everything like that, that's going to be hidden, okay? So, something that I can work on easily offline. Yeah, exactly. You're right, I shouldn't be worrying about that, huh? By the way, I also increased how much meta experience you have to earn before you actually increase... Before you earn meta token, you know. That's one thing. Uh-huh. Oh, you're a genius, man. You're a genius. Well, yeah, for the ending we're going to do that. But now, Cavernous Depths. I have a problem with it. Yesterday I noticed if you go from the rainy road to Cavernous Depths, that the lightning in the rain still is enabled. I was playtesting in the evening the game a bit. It was fun. Also, it's cool that I've removed, like, that you have to go through 2 dungeons. I mean 3, now you have only 2. Because the game, the scope, the length of the game is getting much bigger, you know, so I wouldn't want player to be messing in the first biome for too long. Another thing that I was thinking about is that anyway, I'd like the minigames to appear many more times. So that 50% chance, I kind of want to make it the 100, you know. It feels nicer that you engage in that type of activity more times, because in total you're going to be engaging like 3 times. And 2 times seems a little bit little. Little. Okay. Let's see. So I have a challenge room. That's okay. And activation plates is 0.5. I'm gonna set it to 1 for now. That's going to be available in the next build. But regarding the environment effects, that's a thing that kind of bothers me. Let's see, what did I do here? Level 1, level 2. Okay. Nothing special. Hot controller. Environment somewhere. Set environment something. Camera controller. Here we go. Set environment effect. Now, what I gotta do is I gotta go loop through it. Check the references I'm calling this. In the level itself, I call set environment. Oh, that's interesting. We're going to have to fix that. I mean, it is public. Let me just check out the Steam's page. It's a bit interesting to work in this. Quite confusing, I'd say. Set live build for branch default 0.5. Yes. This is default. So if you go to here, to Lens of Fury playtest, you don't see it in the Steam library probably. Okay. I think that I have to... It's quite interesting. You have like playtest extra store that you have to manage. This app has unpublished changes. Import images from parent app, that was already imported. Localization, that's all good. Publish. This app has unpublished changes. Changes can be viewed in store beta mode. Valve must review and approve your store page before making it public for the first time as a part of the release, but this doesn't make sense. Well, this is playtest. Why should I have a big problem with it? Localization, publish. It's quite confusing, guys, sometimes to navigate around the rules that Steam makes. But, let's see, if we go back to applications, and if I click on Lens of Fury playtest, your store presence, required items for listing, app icon shortcut item. Well, why the hell can that be used from the one that I already have uploaded. Okay, now that's weird. Okay. Sorry, I'm drinking a bit of coffee, so I'm not sure when it kicks in. I kept this off screen because I didn't know how much stuff I can't leak. But I think that the main problem is that I don't have published playtest on the store. So it's asking me now to have shortcut icon, which is interesting because, guys, I have this in the main, what is it called? Yeah, better safe than sorry. I think I'm going to move everything on the left side. Thanks for advising me, man. In the pictures, do I have capsules? My god. Game assets, no, that's for music and everything. Downloads. Steam capsules. 2 months ago. I think this has to be the right folder, but it isn't. Huh. Problem is that I have so many different folders and lacking so much organization in here. It's a bit embarrassing, but yeah. Backup, no. I thought that it would be in downloads. Could it be in the pictures? Pictures, capsules, of course. Of course. But the logo is missing here. So I have to use the old one. Steam. Capsules. Logo PNG. Logo, shadow. No, not this one. It has to be like a square image. I know that somewhere I had a logo which was squared. I can't recall if this was actually in the game folder itself. Maybe it was. Oh, this is a HFS logo. Oh, this is not squared. Here I have a square. Well, this is SVG. If I take this one, I think this one should work from the folder. Yeah, this is just for the icon, like. But again, maybe it'd be better if I'd be using the one without outline. We'll see. Let's use this one. This is only for playtest. So much organization, it ends up unorganized. I've been there. Cramming in a few games right quick. There's a lot of things that yeah. It's always, everything starts out nice, but then you have a file like final, and so on. It's a meme that's actually quite true. But yeah, it's important for us to get this working because, you know, As I'm going to be developing, I'm sure that there's gonna be bug reports coming in heavily. Sad reality. But let's go. Godot projects. I have Lens of Fury here. Godot projects and sprites. Come on, sprites. And here I should have like a logo. Lens of Fury square PNG. Maybe this one. Is this one squared? I think it is. It's the same one. Let me see its dimensions. Nope. This one is, right? But this one is 8000 by 8000. Phew. Upload. There was an error uploading that image. Please make sure the image or icon provided is at least 256 by 256. Yeah. Okay, now I have to find the original. Where do I have the SVG for this in Inkscape? By the way, I'm going to use it. Lens of Fury square SVG. Okay, it's opening. That's good. Here I have like multiple versions of it. And then if I go here, I'm gonna say that I'm going to export 512. That seems to be okay. And I'm going to export it where? Let's call it Steam icon. In the pictures. Love Steam icon. Okay, if I go to files, pictures, capsules, love Steam icon. Okay, upload one. That's okay. I think it's okay. Okay, this app has some unpublished changes. Now if I go to publish, prepare for publishing. Updated icons. Really publish. Okay, your changes have been published. Since your app isn't released, these changes are only accessible for app owners with a release date override package. Well, did this help? Okay, but I have green marks now. Your store presence checklist complete. Your game build checklist complete. So that's good. Now, mark is ready for review. Oh my god. Huh. Okay, so guys, this is the trick. It's the same thing like I have to do for the main game, for the main thing. So I have to mark it as a review, but then they say that it's from 3 to 5 business days that they're going to approve that. Setting this product store page is ready for review. We'll add it to the queue for fall. Okay. This is only for playtest. Yeah, I don't want to include any comments. I just marked it as ready for review. And maybe also this one, game build. Yeah. 7 business days to accommodate any changes or fixes necessary as a result feedback. Well, that's not convenient. This is interesting. Anyway, I wonder, how can I... What if you guys go... I'm gonna Google out the thing. How can I give Steam access to the playtest? Oh, by the way, exactly, that's very nice. I agree with it, but I wonder, Logan or 23, do you guys by any means see this, like Lands of Fury playtest in here? At least an entry, because I wonder what would happen if you go to sorry, to configs, and if there's a possibility to change something here. Private versions. Huh. But what would happen if you go on Lands of Fury normal and go game versions and betas and then unlock a private game version or beta? What would that be? Probably nothing, because this works like a separate entity of its own, right? Anyway, I know that they're gonna have to come back to me, definitely, so maybe we're going to have to wait for a day or two. Usually they are sooner. By the way, if anybody wants to play a really good RPG, buggy as hell, really buggy, but the setting of Insomnia the Ark, man, that was something interesting. Really loved it. They abandoned the game, but it's very good. Okay. So I was saying that we had a problem earlier with set environment effect. Bool visible. Should be visible. And I call this in the beginning of the level, right? I think I do. Yes, set environment effects is called here. When we modulate the canvas, and then we do all that. But disable all environment effects doesn't disable the rain, as far as I saw. And it didn't really affect the lightning. We have environment effect nodes, that's okay. And I'm actually emitting here, set lightning effect to false. But what does it mean? Why didn't it stop? This one, I'm subscribing to it. Set lightning effect, yes, I do it here. Now, if I set it to false, I disable lightning. And I stop the cooldown timer. But does something call it earlier? Huh. not really. Because disable all environment effects is being called when in the level. Before we set any, we disable them. That kind of makes sense. I always want to disable them. Aha! Use environment effects override. If it's false, we return. Well, that's not good. This should be working further. At least I think so. Whenever we set the environment effect, we have to disable every single one of them and then enable only ones that we need. Maybe the place we have to move this would be here. Like that. So we disable them first, and then if we don't have any special environment effects, we don't enable them at all. This sounds logical, at least I believe so. Now, in order for us to test this, would be that, yeah, yesterday I had also noticed a nasty bug that in Rainy Road, if you have like waves of enemies coming towards you, you travel forward and you go back. Sometimes enemies kind of disappear and you can't really complete the section of the level that's there. So we're gonna have to fix that as well as soon as possible, because it's a game-breaking bug. But Rainy Road Arena, something like that. This is what was called. And we've been triggering all sorts of different ways as the player progresses. Katana Zero did some joke DLC through that. That's interesting. You praise that game a lot, huh? You really are impressed by it. I'll have to take a look at it, like deeper look. Okay, if we have this. Amazing game. What I'm looking at is the end position. I'm spawning on check unit dead. I have spawned enemy IDs. I think this could be much easier. If by any chance, somehow, I don't know how, but somehow, if I would have like 2 instances and spawn enemies. Removes only 1 instance always. That's what I'm sure. So I have a hash set, which means that it's only 1 instance in it already. That's okay. It returns false if it's not found, and I don't really have to wrap it up in an if statement. I can just simply do that. And uncomment this block. we're bug hunting, and we're gonna polish some stuff. Also, I think that we have to add like drops for the 3 warlords in the cavernous depths. But the thing that I'm afraid the most, and I really have hard time thinking about it, how I'm going to solve it, is that, for example, player can, yeah, they will drop items. I'm thinking in that way. And I was thinking in a way that damage one is going to drop a weapon, the speedy one is going to drop some boots, and the defense is going to drop armor. You know? Not the best loot, but something that will keep you going, you know? Probably. We're gonna still have to see how many things we're gonna have to tweak, because if you get too many items, you can be too much OP. But then again, you know, I have like level 1 items throughout the game, and I was thinking that we're gonna have to maybe implement a way that you level up the item itself. So, for example, if you have like 2 same types of sword or something, that's how we could, for example, go in the forge. If you have 2 iron swords, you can actually create iron sword level 2 or something like that. But then again, it feels wrong because I'm using the same technique, like 2 rusty swords create you an iron sword. So, yeah, that's one bad thing. So I'm thinking about implementing leveling only for the runes. If you put 2 runes together, and if they have the ability to be higher level, they're going to level up. But items... Exactly, huh? I agree. But runes, I think runes can be a thing, you know? More powerful. What do you think? For example, if you have 2 fireball runes, level 2 fireball rune is going to shoot 2 fireballs. You know, if you have like ice bolt, level 2 ice bolt rune is going to do something then. Yeah. For the items I agree. Definitely, you get more variety and everything, right? Didn't do it yet, but we could, in theory, you know. It's not a problem, it's just a recipe that I have to add. Okay, going well. Bug hunting and thinking about how I'm going to solve the problem that in the rainy road, if you travel up fast and the units spawn behind you, I got a feeling that somehow they get out of bounds. Then it's just a big numbers game, you know. We have to think about it, how the progression is going to be implemented regarding the numbers. That's the thing that's gonna need tweaking a lot, I believe. Huh. Level chunk tile map. This is only representing the tile maps, but I have like level chunk something. Yeah, this one. And this one has the reference to all the entities. And this is where actually where I disable the entities and enable them once they get unloaded. Biggest problem, there's for some freaking reason I suspect that units go out of bounds somewhere. And in order for us to test that, what I'm gonna do is we're going to make the rainy road as a first level, and we're going to test it out extensively. I'm gonna copy it, paste it down here, and what we gotta do is we gotta see where they go out of bounds or how it happens. So we never should let player to be stuck, to not progress any further. But now if I take a look at level chunk controller, I'm not gonna see anything cool here, but in the road arena I should be taking a look what's going on with the spawned enemies IDs. Yeah, we're gonna print this thing out. GD print number of spawned enemies remaining, and then we're going to add plus spawned enemies count. So we're gonna print it out. And I'm learning print is plugging a lamp into various sockets to test power. Exactly. I mean, it's very powerful to use the debugger, but sometimes print is all you need. By the way, yeah. So guys, last time I was adding also ores in the evening. So let me see. These are the ores. Let me write them out. Dino, emerald, gold, iron, silver, and stone. If anybody has an idea for recipes or suggests something cool with recipes, open for suggestions. We have a lot of items that are available. We still have a lot of helmets that we have to implement. I only have a couple of them in here. This one is in, and then again we have to modify all the stats. So yeah, I have like 2 bird ones, this mage one. Maybe the recipe could be like a fairy dust and something. And leather. Should we make animals drop leather or something? I think we should add like a merchant as well who actually just specializes, or also for crafting. You know, like currently you have, if you put together dino and stone, you get a mine. But I've added different ones like iron, silver, stone, and so on. What basically I want to do is I just want to make the base for better recipes. You know, variations. Yeah, I want to add it. I want to add the thing, definitely. Okay, I really want to test this out if it's going to break. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna roll all the way to the top and then back and see what's gonna happen. And try to kill enemies along the way. By the way, I've added a cool little trick command, add cool starting gear. So I don't have to type out add item anymore. You know. When I test. Okay, there's a lot of entities. Here's a blockade. Look at that ghoul cannibalizing. Freaking evil thing. Wow, spiked one is... They're eating, man. Okay, forward we go. Leave my piggy alone. Jesus. Okay, we're at the end. And I think this is where our doom and gloom meets us. There we go. Apple. Let's see if the debug prints are working. Number of spawned enemies remaining 12. Okay. I'm gonna be slaying. Actually, you know what? I gotta be slaying on the screen. And looking on the other screen. It's gonna be better. Don't want you to look at the text console. Okay. So far so good. Here's a huge one. It says 7 enemies remaining. Another bug. That thing popped out from nowhere as soon as I destroyed other thing. How many enemies are remaining? 4 enemies remaining. 3 enemies remaining. And I think that's it. No, actually, here's one more. And the others have to be out of bounds. 2 enemies remaining. So 2 enemies just mystically disappeared. They don't appear anymore. Freaking hell. Let's see. And unless I kill all the enemies, I got a problem that I can progress the game. What was that? Oh, those are spikes. What else do we have in here? Nothing, nobody to be found. And then by fixing this bug, I believe that we would fix also the bug where actually Snip goes out of bounds, which kind of sucks. Yeah. Confirmed. Problem is here somewhere. I think that they wander off. Now it'd be cool if I could somehow see the locations where they wandered off, but that's just making sure that they're still alive. Huh. Because if I, for example, trigger kill all enemies AI, level something, kill, then it falls asleep, right? And you can progress. Now I want to see if the rain stops. Ah, I'm going back to the same thing again. Of course I am. Because that's the second level. One more time. Now the next one should be Cavernous Depths, and by the time we get there, everything should stop. Lots of sinister entities incoming. No. No. I wasn't fast enough to press kill all enemies. Okay, never mind. There we go. Now, the issue that I'm kind of checking out here is in the level chunk controller. Level chunk, when I set the entity to be active or something, I resume its movement, but if it's an entity, I stop and disable movement, which is a-okay. Because this on chunk deactivates set process mode 2, the config I get is from the unit scene itself. So basically for every entity I have a simple metadata, not simple metadata, but predefined meta files that I've created. And this thing says if I go out of the screen of the chunk, I shouldn't be loaded, then I have to set the process to false. Now, one of the pain points could be that, what happens, how's the entity set if it's spawning outside of the currently loaded chunk? We could check this one out as well. Set entity active is being called when? It's being called in the teleporter, yeah, for the allies and every other single thing. But in the level chunk, add entity and remove entity, it's being called here as well. Which is okay and expected, but when do I add the entity itself? In the level chunk, the entity is being added when? Level chunk controller, assign entity to chunk. This is called on entity child entered tree. Okay, wise guy, what were you doing here? Entity child entered tree. Yes. And the level itself, I think this is where we wire that thing. The child. But do I emit this? Why don't I see this being committed anywhere? I have a signal for it here, but no emits. What the hell did I do here? Because the purpose of this was actually if I spawn something, I should kind of emit that entity child entered tree, yeah. And then I should be assigning it to correct chunk. But it looks like I'm not assigning it to correct chunk. What? I don't emit this anywhere. Huh, could this be the bug? Wait a minute. Okay, if I try to... Huh. Because I'm thinking that maybe we're trying to spawn the units outside of the loaded area if I move too fast, and they don't ever get picked up by the chunk controller. See, I'm calling call deferred add child on this. Huh. I'm gonna rubber duck the thing out of it. Let me just phrase the question correctly. I believe that some units go out of bounds. I'm gonna slap this one in and slap this one in here, and then I'm gonna give it the context of level chunk itself. Yeah, I think this is the main problem. I just want to confirm it with it. Potential issues. The core problem, update entity chunk assignment. You only update the chunk assignment when a unit moves to a different chunk. Yep. But the issue is in remove entity. Remove entity is... Huh. The real out of bounds issue. There is a subtle math edge case. When a unit is exactly on a chunk boundary, math floor with floating point division can return the wrong chunk index due to precision issue. We got chunk containing. Let's see. Manual for division for negative numbers. So from this to that. I wouldn't have guessed this one by myself, like never ever. I think this is like a super edgy case. But the ones that I'm looking for now... An update entity chunk assignment, you only update the chunk assignment when a unit moves to a different chunk. But the issue is in remove entity. It calls set entity false on removal, which would deactivate units even when they're transferring to an adjacent active chunk. Yes, I do that. So that's deactivating them for no reason. Entities, remove entity. If entity is unit, I remove it. Always deactivates. First fix, remove entity to not blindly deactivate. Yes, I get it now. Because, which means if I have a grid like up, down, left and right, if I go to the right and the player is more to the right, I shouldn't be deactivating it between the chunk and then reactivating it. That was a... It wasn't a very noticeable bug, but it's definitely here. So that's one thing. Then in update chunk assignment in here, I have this, which is okay. I check if the instance is valid. Now this was changed also for the edge cases, but if old chunk isn't new chunk, old chunk entities remove entity. Old chunk remove entity. Why it's calling entities remove? Entities remove entity. I remove it from the old one. And then I add it to the new one. But why the hell do you want me to call? Okay, I have this one here. And then add. That's okay. I think in level controller I have this function already correctly implemented, so no problem. We removed it from the old one if it exists. If it doesn't, it's not going to remove anything. Then a new chunk we added. That's okay. So update chunk assignment is being triggered when? On unit position on tile map changed. That's okay. But the problem... The main problem that I have is with spawnings. Huh? Also be in the spawning. Do all new spawned correctly. Yeah, sorry about it, guys. I'm just writing a bit, talking with it. Looking at your spawning code, yes, there's definitely a gap there. Units are added via call deferred. Yeah, I called this one out. This triggers on entity child enter tree. Assign entity to chunk add entity. That part is fine. But I don't think this gets triggered. What are you telling me, you thingy? I don't call this anywhere. I don't believe that this event is emitted. Wow, I really have to guide it by hands. The thing that's spitting back at me is like 50% okay, 50% not. And I'm talking with Cloud for now. Child entered tree. So yeah, it's confirming that this should be the bug that I have. Now, child entered tree. When should you be admitted? When I'm spawning the unit, that's one thing for sure. Spawn player head node, that's not the biggest problem. Entities call deferred. Entities are being added in the level under that thingy. What happens if I emit the signal here? Let's do it. Emit signal, signal name. Entity child enter tree. And I'm gonna emit the unit itself. Problem we have is that this isn't really added to the tree itself yet. Because we're calling it as call deferred. But if we take a look at this function here, what do I do on exiting? Remove entity from all chunks. I don't emit that as well. Okay, baby steps. Baby step, baby steps. Let's run play and let's see what's going on. We made a couple of changes, maybe something might changed. Exactly 23. Well, I hit play. Need to find a good one. Here we go. 3 a.m. lock in. Let's see, is it spitting any errors? Null reference on unit died. Loot controller. Bonus items. Okay, we'll see what's going on with that one. We're gonna be running. Oh, I should toggle the god mode. Why didn't I think about it earlier? That's cool, man. That's really cool. Nice. That the progress is being made on the game. I'm immortal. Okay, now we're here. And slowly we start our kill. There we go. Thank you, dude. There should be like a counter somewhere visible here, how many enemies you have to kill. That adds to experience. Whoa, somebody took out the lights. Ah, the spitter. Oh, Houston, we have a problem. It's still not working. Number of spawned enemies remaining 4. Why the freaking hell? Yeah. Yeah, at least some guy in Houston, right? But now, how should I debug you? I'd like to print somehow out what's going on with these guys. The movement isn't going anywhere, probably. Everything's empty. 4 of them, freaking 4 of them are still alive. How the hell? How the hell? Okay. This is a very big bug. I know if we're gonna save it. The NASA Space Center is so sick, I believe you, man. I like that space technology wipes, you know, the style that was used in alien movies and so on. And maybe this era, I don't know if this is from 80s, I believe this is from 80s, like you see it here, you know, the orange colors and this retro technology look. I really love this vibe, man. This style is like, wow. Retro modern, exactly. Well, I'm emitting this one in here. How can they get out of the freaking bonds? I wonder, one of the safety mechanisms could be that if something goes out of bounds, that you basically place it to the closest inbound area. But that's just like, you know, you're applying a fix to something. You're not fixing the root problem. That's what I kind of want to avoid. The best way would be that you don't have a root problem, but that you also have the mechanisms to handle that case. Just in case if something happens, even though it's not going to happen, you know? I remove them, but what freaking happens? And this is something that was bothering me already, like months ago. Months ago. Let me see this one. Chunk controller. On child enter 3. Assign entity to chunk is okay. I start adding entities here. What's with this? Eight months ago I was uncommenting a thing. Is active. From where is this coming? Set entity active. Okay, back to the chunk controller. If active, I check the movement system. I resume movement. That's okay. And then I, based on that, set the process mode, which is also okay-ish. Then we have default entity config in level chunk. That's also okay. Yeah, they often say the most permanent fix is a temporary one. I agree with that, Logan. But this is such a pain in the ass. Sorry to be doomer oriented here. It's... Blah. Okay, first thing first, I just want to see if this thing actually gets triggered normally and if the assignment goes through here correctly. I assigned entity to chunk on entity tree. I'm gonna start it with F5 for now. It's a process, exactly. Starting to assign it. It's being assigned. Set lightning effect to false. That's okay. Don't care about that one. If I go a bit further. Assign entity to chunk. Okay, it's going to call this more than a couple of times. Most definitely. So in the beginning, we're going to leave it. And then we want to see what's happening with the entities when they're starting to spawn as sinister entities. But it's gonna trigger normally, I'm sure of it. Now I know that if I'm going back, yeah, it's here, no 2D. That one's working. Right. So I'm gonna stop this one, not from here, but in the road arena controller. When we're gonna get so far, I just want to see if they're really out of bounds. If that's the trigger. Or they stay invisible and within the bounds. But no, they have to be out because the snip is outside a lot of times. Not a lot of times, but sometimes you can see him that he's stuck in the wall. Like his shadow. I just don't feel the vibe of the music is going to do me. Need something more chilly. More positive thoughts coming our way. Now that obviously didn't solve it. The thing that we were looking here with emitting the entity, child, enter tree, blah 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 shit. Sorry about swearing. Because I assign it to entity chunk here, and then everything should be assigned as it's assigned. That's good. I go here and set it to active. Based on chunk. Which is okay. Everything is okay here. Okay, how can I easily solve this? I want to keep a track if the dude that's walking is within the bounds. So completely logically, if we take a look. But what does within the bounds mean? Because I have like a grid. I have the height and the width of the level. That's the outer bounds. But then I should also have like the walls that are in the level that are generated. How can I do the check? Well, 23, yeah, one idea is maybe that I cast... Freaking hell. Okay, the easiest probably way... Let's go to the movement system of each unit that we have. I know this is going to make the things laggy as hell. But position on tile map changed. This is the event that we emit. Unit position on tile map changed. And we're not going to destroy anything on the map. But what we're gonna do is... I'm gonna sub to this thing in the road arena controller. So every time any unit moves, we're gonna be checking this. In this class for now at least. So that I can easily disable it. No, actually, we're gonna do it in the level itself, because maybe we're not going to be dependent on the road arena controller for this only. Maybe we're gonna have to debug also the normal level, and then here where we have subscribe to events, I have like global events controller. And this event that's being committed here in the movement system. Come on, where did you go? Position on tile map change, right? Position on unit position on tile map changed. That's the first function, and we have to unsub from it as well, and the unsubscribe. And this monstrosity is going to be implemented down here. Private void. This, and then we have like two vector eyes, old position and new position. Wait a minute. Events controller. Position on tile map changed. This one. Because I want to have the reference to the unit itself as well. Definitely. So that's okay. And then we're going to spit out gd print unit no unit data resource ID, so we know who we're talking about. New position. Like this. And we're gonna have a helper function. Private bool inbounds. And we're just gonna slap in vector2i position. And here we're gonna have like a reference to the pathfinding controller or something like that. No. Yes. Yes, we can depend on the pathfinding this. Level controller. Pathfinding, no, currently loaded level, pathfinding controller. Is... what is it called? Bounds. Is point within bounds. Position. Inbounds. We know the pause. Do I need so many words? Probably not. Nah. Anyway, now this is going to be printing a lot of times. But at least we're gonna know if we're moving on the area, if we're within a tile map bounce like on A star, because that thing is walkable then that's okay. But as soon as it's not walkable, that means like, what the F are you doing here? And besides that, yeah, sometimes he could be knocked out of walkable area if there's a campfire there or something. I don't care about that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna enable also like a HUD that's going to display where we at within the map bounds, where the player is, so we can then compare easily like the positions of the units, where they're moving and where the player is moving. Probably this is going to make the game lag. because we're going to make a lot of prints, but so far so good. Okay, we go. And now let's toggle God mode, player, toggle God mode. And I should really make a powerful sword that kind of one hits everything. I know that back in the day I had like a laser weapon, but that thing got broken. Look at this. It is broken, but it worked a long time ago. So this has to be fixed. I can also display show debug HUD. This is telling us on which tile we're actually moving. And then once we're going to have problem, we're gonna try to compare the values where they go out of bounds, if it's the place that we predicted or not. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna use Fireball. Fireball is super powerful against these things. They all catch fire. Okay. Now, player, add item, Fireball rune. Okay, now we're going... I only see through everywhere. Everything that's moving is through. True. Everything is true. Well, this is what I'm afraid of. I don't see a single false. Wow, this is a mosh pit. So far so good. Anybody else? 1 second, little invader. Yeah, let me take a couple of minutes, just a second. Little one's trying to come in. Be right back. Yeah, I'm back. And I'm thinking about a tank or two. Summon lightning bulk. It worked. Funny. If we take a look at everything here. Now that I'm thinking of it, freaking hell. Maybe the units that are off screen don't move. So this unit position on tile map change is never going to trigger. That's one thing. I still see something moving. Butchers are moving, so that's okay. Zombie position is still moving. Something's moving here. Yeah, this is probably this zombie. Didra fell asleep. Oh my god, and now this bug didn't trigger itself. How convenient. Anyway, if we go forward a bit, we're basically going to replay the same level. Maybe just a different seed. So, yeah, it kind of worked now. Everything was killed. By coincidence, it worked. Come on. A bit further. Up, up, up we go. Yep, he's down. Player, toggle, God mode. I have to toggle it again. And rinse and repeat. We're gonna do the same thing again in here. Summon the lightning bolt, yeah, of course. I bet you hit the timer, huh? But that's actually amazing because the timer is completely random. Let's go further. So my theory is that we have to go as far as possible, as soon as possible. Because the mumbo jumbo happens back then. When the things are not loading. I mean, we could avoid the problem a bit if we would be spawning only enemies in front of the player, so then player would probably kill them all. That could be a... Sorry about coughing again, guys. Come on, burn. I can't really trigger kill all because then we kill also the ones that are trapped somewhere. What an ugly miss. Oh, you're cannibalizing on yourself, huh? Skelly, 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 skelly. Okay, nobody's here. That's okay. They all went down. Attacking our poor Anna. What else? Okay. So I don't see any movement. The log is not saying anything that any other unit would be triggering something. But Number of spawned enemies remaining is 1. Crying out loud. Anna is here. I don't detect the movement. It's not being logged anywhere. Only Max Anna, Max Anna, Max Anna. Nope, I didn't miss a single one. Oh, freaking hell. I triggered killed all AI units. But nothing happened. What? Let's see if at least the rain stops working. Yeah, at least that worked. So no more rain in the transition. That's a plus. What if we go further? Why did we get a notification that Didra fell asleep? Why? I know that I'm working on a condition that you have to defeat all 3 of the enemies. Like... maybe that's a bug that we have to fix as well. By the way, I'm highly thinking about working on something and then fixing bugs the off stream, because I'm not gonna make any progress regarding the content, and I believe that bug hunting is the most boring part ever. Yeah, he didn't fall asleep. So that was a freaking lie. Player. There we go. Level enable. Let's see. Now we should have come to the frozen peaks. That's going to be the last area, definitely. And we're gonna have to work on it heavily still. A lot of content will be added. Decorations have to be added as well here. I don't even see the main path. Where's the main path? That's not the main path. And I'm not immortal anymore. Trouble, trouble. Yeah, the exit doesn't appear because that's the last level. So that's okay in that condition. Ah, something chewed on me. Phew. People. No Wally, nap time. Maybe code yourself a pocket watch. Bug hunting is fun. Fixing it sucks. Fixed is great. Oh. You know, it really bothers me so much, man. Because I'm frustrated and I... Huh. Everything is moving then. You know, this would be very expensive if I would be looking at this position within bounds, like a lot of frames. I'm looking at this only if position has obstacle. I'm relying heavily on physics, that I don't collide. So yeah, this on unit position on tile map change didn't help us at all. Could it be that something stale is in here? That they're not off bounds? In road arena controller. No, that couldn't be it. Chocobo and try to find the proto relic, exactly. Yo, Chadley. Chadley. That dude has had some issues. I have to admit it, I'm sad regarding this bug. It's been bothering me for so long. And I was looking at it for the freaking 2 hours now already. And we didn't make any progress. We're gonna have to move on. Bug hunting's gonna come later. Meanwhile, we're going to implement some kind of a fix. Thanks for being so positive, guys. I really appreciate it because, yeah, it's frustrating. Yesterday I was working actually to 12:30, midnight. That's like 11:30 p.m. So I'm a bit tired, I have to admit. So what we're going to do is... Sorry about that again. If, only if, we have arena controller and this bug appears here, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna create a timer in arena bug and I'm gonna add. If it's out of bounds, that unit is going to get nuked. Killed. What do you say? Because this is a stopper in the road. Or no, it's going to get positioned closest within the bounds. It's a fix. It's not a fix like that, but it's like, you know, you get a painkiller. You don't fix the freaking issue of the pain cause, but you don't feel it anymore. Let's try it that way. Okay, so this is going to be level dependent on every single level that we have in game. What I'm gonna do here is... yeah. Check only if the point is there on the walk. I think this check should be fairly not expensive. Let's see it. So now I'm subscribing to on unit position on tile map changed. This isn't going to be good. Because if he's stuck, he can't really change the position on tile map. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of move this dude away. And what I'm gonna add is a timer. That's going to be like, you know, ticking. And what is that? This is measure time, level timer. I just wonder if this is 1 second, then this is okay. Or maybe we could tick this even less frequently. If we go to the level scene itself, level, and here we have level timer. This ticks every second. We could add another one. Let's call this one. It's gonna be a timer. And we're gonna call it bounce check timer or something like that. I have to come with a good word for it. Out of bounds check timer. And if we have around 50 units and we check for 50 units, this could cause a spike, which isn't that good. But if we would have this tick on like every 2 seconds, and we would be iterating in batches, that'd be good. So for example, on the tick we would process only 20 units, even though if you have like 100 units, you would process only first 20, then from 20 to 40, so on, you know, like batches. This could keep the spike or lag to minimum. Okay. Out of bounds timer, we're gonna set it to auto start. Then this is iterating over every single freaking unit. What if I check this only for the units that don't have velocity high to something? I wonder, is the velocity still high if you're trying to move towards the wall, but you're not moving? You know, if the number is high, you're physically not moving, but you're trying to move. Anyway, that's again special edge case. Let's copy it, have it on 2 seconds. That's okay. And then we have other levels as well, other scenes. And we have recording level, where this has to be put in as well. Why doesn't the copy paste work? Level. Level. Recording level. Why can't I freaking copy you? I swear to God I pressed Control C and then Control V. Okay, maybe if I'm more explicit here. Then the level comes to this one. Recording level. Paste. Now it worked. Then we have tutorial level. So we don't get any null references. The Glade test level is another one that we need. Paste. Oh, how to bounce like this. And now what we gotta do is we gotta filter through all the units. So level timer. We're gonna have this one. Public. Timer. And we're gonna call it out of bounds timer. Node. Okay. Now we do the subbing here. On out of bounds. Like this. And we unsubscribe when we have to. Now under the measure time. Private void. Like this. Huh. Now we have a special case. You know that there exists a trap master which is always located at 0, 0 position. That dude is like exception. He shouldn't be moved within the bounds because he's the most OP unit like ever. He's responsible for every trap in the game. That's a unit, guys. It's a big slime. But what we're going to do here, I think we have reference to units, right? In units I have like every single unit available. Okay. Really? That was your nickname in high school? Well, it's actually quite funny because I use this unit, you know, I have system heavily dependent on units dealing damage to anything. So that unit is like not moving anywhere. And that was a trap joke. Units. I'm gonna call this unit. Unit is instance valid. Oh no, up here. If it's not valid, I continue. Else, I say. Global level controller, currently loaded level. Ah, that's this one. So we have the access to pathfinding controller. Is point within bounds. Unit, movement system, or tile something. Position on tile map. Let's call it if Continue. Else. Let's call it private reposition void Of course, dude. Logan, have fun, man. Thanks for staying. Good luck on caring for the dogs. For taking care of the dogs. My pleasure, man. My pleasure. Then we have to say private void move to position. Bye. Now what we gotta do is, move unit to safe position. I'm gonna write myself a comment. Get units tile map position. Find a free floor position. Teleport unit to free floor position. Find a closest free floor position. Okay. I have the positions and floor positions and so on available, and I'm gonna use the pathfinding one. That one should always be okay. Here we have like a star grid, and this is like an array of vector 2 positions. A star grid 2D. Point something. Get point solid, no. Where can I get all the points for positions? No. Diagonal. Come on, free. This is just for checking out. But I need all the points. Region is what? The region of grid cells available for pathfinding. Is this the one? No, not really. Probably not. Yeah, I'm gonna ask the GPT for the reference for this thing. Find move unit to safe position. I want a star 2D. Free point closest to the unit's position. So that's the first one. Pathfinding controller is here. And the unit is here. I don't know with the A-star API what's going on, because I use it definitely here for finding the... I mean, A-star grid 2D is actually an array of points somewhere, but I'm not sure which thing holds the points. I know that you can get, if the position is free, or it's in bounds, it's point solid. Yeah, so that's one thing. But the API for this. Search outward in rings until we find a free position. Huh. I don't like this solution. It wants to increase the radius every search. That means that it's going to be hitting this. Oh, that's such a bad thing. Did he become retarded? I think that this code that he's recommending me right now, right? Move unit to safe position. He would like to increase the radius and search until we find the first one. That means that if I don't hit in the radius 1, 2, 3 or else closest position, he's going to iterate every time over them. Like if the free position is only at the radius 9, he would go from all the way from 1 to 9, I believe 8 or 7 times. So this is very inefficient. At least that's what I'm explaining myself. What he's trying to recommend. That's kind of weird. He became dumb. Dumber. Now he's using another algo. Unit position on tile map, and then he starts adding directions. Also not something that I'm good with. That he would do that. That's crazy. Is there a way to get all the free positions, all the points in an A star that are not solid? Okay. We're gonna try this one. Oh, yeah. Directions in all 4 directions. He's going to iterate over them. Creates a queue first. In queue start. What is start? Unit. Okay. While queue count is more than 0. Okay, let's trust it for now. So I want this to trigger here. And we're gonna pass in unit. And I wonder how many times we're going to hit that. Moving it to the left. Now this should start by itself every 2 seconds. This out of bounds should check, and it should only check if the instance is valid and if the pathfinding controller point is not within the bounds. What point is within the bounds comes from what? Currently loaded level, max level bounds. This isn't going to be well. It's within bounds is not okay. Check, because this only looks like a grid. Tuck, 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 tuck. And it checks it's out of that. But no, we have solid somewhere in between. So that check isn't going to work. I'm sure of it. Then we have a level generator. And then here I have floor tiles. And this check could be easier, because this is actually a hash set. And the lookup for this is okay. So rather than checking this within bounds thing, I can actually move this one. If position has obstacle, false, wait a minute. I remove this one. I set this one to false, that's okay. And then I say here that level generator, something like that. Floor tiles, yeah, contains unit position on tile map equals to false. I mean, if it contains it, that means that it's okay. The generator, the floor that he's actually moving on is on a floor, so that's okay. But if it doesn't, it moves it. This makes kind of sense. I'm not sure if this move unit to safe position is going to work well. I have to kind of teleport the unit. Unit teleport 2 is being used here. That's okay. Teleport 2 gets the vector. Okay. Net to world current. Let's start it and see how it goes. Hello. Handled. Thank you. I was already cheering that somebody came. And then I saw that a Russian domain and I was like, damn. Thanks, 23. Okay. It's loading, it's doing something. I highly believe that. The breakpoint triggered. Wow, something's going on. Something is error crashing like crazy. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Movement system. Okay, what's going on here? There's like tons of errors. Hard to read the errors from the Visual Studio Code because of lack of coloring, I'd say. Did the Godot crash? I think it did. Okay, let's open it up. I'm gonna start it through editor again. Adding terms to ban list might be able to outrun a dictionary, who knows? Thanks, dude. And now, if I hit play, we're gonna see tons of errors, probably because of the timer that's starting too early, before everything is generated. That's a quite big of a possibility. So we're gonna have to offset the timer start only to once it's loaded already, I'm sure. Moving the game to the left side, and now we're going to see lots of errors, right? Of course, it's spitting them out like crazy. Null reference exception, adapter is attacking, what the hell? Node not found, out of bounds timer. Well... out of bounds timer. I have it in here, don't I? Out of bounds timer. Error loading scene, okay. Out of bounds check timer, of course. Of course. No. I copied and pasted this. Let's leave the check in. I don't want to edit the 4 scenes again. We just have to rename it in here. But then again, that error probably still will appear. Out of bounds. This one is going here. Let's start it again. Building, building, building. Okay. So it loaded. I didn't see any significant errors. That's okay. Yeah, and let's start the game again through Visual Studio Code and see if breakpoints trigger at all. So here we go. F5. Where's the timer? Outbound timer. This one. We want to see if it's going to trigger at least once and where it's going to reposition the unit. Because if we fix that, guys, this is a big painkiller. I'd say. I also want to see what's going to happen with the performance. Move unit to safe position. Which one? Ah, crap. Crappity crap. Huh? It's trying to move probably the trap master, right? The one that I predicted but I didn't handle. Let's see, I am looking for the ID. Unit data resource. ID of that unit data. I don't see it. He's trying to handle Max. Why? Why would you like to move Max away? Unit data resource, mini dwarf shield breaker. He wants to move them to safe position. Uh-huh. Of course. Because the problem with this thing is... Look, it's moving me on every 2 seconds to a safe position. This thing isn't generated, so we don't have any floor tiles. But it's funny. It moves us. So we gotta add additional check before this timer actually triggers. and keeps on ticking. It doesn't make any sense. Easy fix is out of bounds timer if exactly, it's teleporting it, but this level is not generated, it's pre-made, so it doesn't have any floor tiles in the generator itself. So if level resource generate something is I don't know, what is it called? Generate. Are you kidding me? Somewhere in Godot I have like level and generate map. But why isn't it appearing? Because if I have it to false, I don't want to check it. Generate map. It's false. Return. By generate map, it's already pre-populated. We don't have to do anything. But now that I think of it, what's gonna happen to units if they are going to be placed in challenge rooms? What's gonna happen in that condition? Example, if I go with a companion into the challenge room or into arena and all the units that are in arena, that's another condition that we have to handle probably. There we go. It's not triggering anymore, that's okay. And if we go now to other area, it's not triggering yet, but I wonder when it's going to break. Oh. Huh. Wait a second. Unit data resource .id. Yup, he's trying to move the trap master. So we have to handle those things as well, most definitely. I'm not going to even try without it. I saw that he tried to move the trap master, so if it's not valid or unit data resource ID, this is a string name probably. We're not going to be creating every 2 seconds a new string name, so we're going to have like a private static, maybe even public static string name, master ID as a new string name, trap master. So if that's going on here, come on. Actually, I can remove these 2 functions, but this one here. So if it equals to trap master, we continue as well. That's the first case. The second case could be That's only for the floor tiles. Whew. Okay, baby steps. The second condition that we're gonna have to handle then will probably be the one for the room. Do I have a level room? Do I track units somewhere here? Huh. I don't track them. Bad. Basically, if I start spawning something in the level room, huh. Well, the easiest fix would be that if we travel to a room itself, we disable out of bounds timeout timer. Because there the conditions are always good, we don't do a thing there. But the problem becomes if we would have like rooms where we have like NPCs and NPCs have to stay there, like, I don't know, underground shop. Then it would still try to move the units away. That wouldn't be good. That suck bad. So I'm a bit baffled here. Yeah, we're gonna have to handle that definitely. But first, yeah, let's go. Baby steps, like I said it. See if this triggers and the rainy road itself, if it fixes the things. And then other cases as well. Definitely. Smaller, better, and then testing as we go, you know. I'm just gonna try to look at how the game is impacted. Move unit to safe position. Which one are you trying to move? Bandit. He's trying to move bandit. Okay. We'll see how frequently this triggers or what's going on. Again, it's trying to move bandit. You know what? I'm gonna show debug HUD. Okay. Sinister entities incoming. I didn't make ourselves invulnerable. Problem for the boyos. Player toggle, god mode. But let's keep on running. There's a lag spike when I spawn them. I understand that. Pulling units will be interesting. Most definitely, but another thing that's optimization that can cause headaches. Okay, I don't see that they would be like moved away. So if we're fighting on the edge, that's still good. The edge case for this is a-okay. But if we go forward, try to annihilate every single one of them. Let's see what's going on with the FPS. Setting it to unlimited. That's gonna cook my PC. Definitely with streaming and everything. Still okay. You have to remember this is a debug and it's running from the editor. It's not like a build version of the game. All good. I wonder if it's still trying to reposition something. Something is hitting the wall. Bandit. Bandit crossbow man. What the hell? What happened with those guys? Still not okay. "24 units are still referenced. How is this possible? I don't know. What's going on here? Triple Jump Games just rated with 14 viewers. Thanks, man. How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? I'm having like a lot of issues, man, today. Having issues because sometimes my enemies spawn out of the bounds and I can't kill them. And this means that they actually block the progress of the game. I can't go further to the other level because the one exit that I'm triggering that is going to lower, it's not lowering until you kill all the units. And now this is really like, I don't know, man. I've been bothering with it like 2.5 hours, if not even more. So, sorry about that. Yeah, otherwise, guys, check out Triple Jump Games game, Atomcraft. It's a really cool game. I highly recommend it. It's also made in Godot and C#. And he's made a really nice progress. Yeah, debugging stream. Definitely. And how I'm tackling this is basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to iterate over every single one of these, what should I say, units that I have stored in my reference list. And check if it's within the bounds. Better pin? Aha, yeah, okay. And if it's within the bounds, I mean if it's out of the bounds, I try to put them back somewhere in a good position. But man, I'm failing miserably. So I'm really sorry for that. This is taking way longer than it was expected, but it's something that we have to address, and it should be addressed like really sooner. When I've noticed this thing first when it started appearing, but yeah, I was building on it still. Now I'm debugging this in Visual Studio Code, and what I'm doing is basically I'm just iterating over this list, and I try to move unit to a safe position every 2 seconds. But this list, for some weird freaking reason, is still large. There's like 24 units. I don't have them. Yeah, I really don't have the 24 units anywhere. And if I take a look to the units that he wants to iterate, that means that I don't clean them successfully. Now the bandits themselves, they spawn like really early in the game. They don't add to the counter that's needed for the arena to like finish. But still I see, okay, slime is there. Big slime, this shouldn't be there, also not. I'm looking for a zombie-like creature if it appears in this list, because those are the stoppers. Spike Ghoul, Eva. This is the one. Now I want to see, is this instance still valid? If I check it out like that, it is valid. What's its health? Let's go unit, health system. Current health or something like that. 36, it's a freaking valid unit instance, but it's somewhere off the screen. If I go to the movement system, and check out, no, actually there's like a current tile position on the unit itself. Tile position? No. Position something. Oh, I know that I have to look for vector 2i. Position on tile map. Oh, this one. 9570. If I take a look at the debug screen, 9570. Now this could be on completely opposite. It is 9570, right? I'm gonna travel all the way to top and just try to envision where this thing is. We're like on the bottom edge now. If we're going to 95, so we have to travel more to the right, but then we start going to the left again. Higher, higher, higher. Yeah, this is Anna, companion. So, Triple Jump Games, how was your stream today? Uh-huh. 9570. A bit higher. So 23 saying, you were thinking about some temporary fixes. Can you smother it and respawn? Can you make it face towards the player every 2 seconds until it touches a different tile? 9570. I think we're very close now. Just a second, 23. So they're somewhere there. To the right. They're off screen. Good. Yeah. What I'm trying to do is I want to reposition them, but for some reason the repositioning isn't working well. And I have to admit, that thing, the function for move unit to safe position, isn't the best one. It isn't the best one, definitely not. Gonna stop it here. And I'm gonna try to take a look at what actually is going to happen for repositioning. Huh. We have a position tile map in the beginning, that's okay. Now this algorithm, I was clouding myself with this one a bit. The most naive approach would be that I would get like all the positions on the navigation mesh. But that's not like the best thing to work on with, because then you have to iterate over every single grid position, which ain't good. But I wanted to go with the floor tiles, because I use move unit to save position only if the level is generated. Let's go with level generator, and here we have floor tiles. I'm gonna use the naive approach. I'm gonna say, okay, I'm going to reposition the unit in a safe position if it's within at least like, I don't know, 6 tiles or something like that. Performance of this is going to suck probably, but sometimes you're gonna optimize a bit later. I have a utility function. Find closest or something. Find closest. Closest. Not node, but closest position. This one. I can put in list of candidates. Have them teleport to closest tag. Basically, it's not tags now 23. The thing is that I have floor tiles already saved in the generator. And the floor tiles usually are completely free. I don't have anything on them at the end. Those are movable positions. So it's like a tag. But I'm storing a separate list for those things in the generator itself. So I want to use it. So if we have like floor tiles, I could call utility get closest position, and I could pass in the target position, which is vector 2. Do I have the same version? Probably for vector 2i. Well, anyway, I wonder if it's going to scream about conversion. Sorry about it, dude. So start is this. And then we would pass in like level generator, floor tiles. But it's going to complain because this is a hash set. Now I need a hash set version for this thingy. Right. 1 second. Floor tiles. Get closest floor tile to what? I have something here already. One second, there's a function in the generator. I have a target position. Okay, I think that I could kind of reuse this one. I think I could. Get closest floor tile. And then I pass in floor tiles. This one is already using the floor tiles I have. So maybe this one. Okay, then different strategy. Unit dot cached global position. Unit position equals to this. And then I'd say level generator. And here I would say get closest floor tile, not floor tile. Wait a minute. Let's see. Make a special floor tile specifically for this. I just want to know. This is like taking in the tile position, isn't it? Why do I have vector 2 and not vector 2i? I don't recall that. And then get closest floor tile. Unit position. And we don't pass in anything. Like this. Floor tile. That's the first one. And then somehow we have to make a conversion between the floor tile to the world tile. And I always kind of forget that I do this. I believe in pathfinding controller. Do I have it here? Pathfinding. Oh, IntelliSense died. And this is called local to world or something like that. World to grid, grid to world. Floor tile. Vector 2i. And we say unit position teleport. No, unit teleport to this position. Teleport is using the world position. The world position is like global position, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Now, this monstrosity has to be tested out. God help me. I gotta admit, this room is getting stuffy where I'm sitting, man. It's April, almost May, and I think that I'm gonna have to, like, turn on the air conditioning soon. Okay, first what we're gonna do is we're gonna make us invulnerable. Toggle God mode. And now let's keep on running. Small fan? I don't know, man. It just blows bees in you, right? It doesn't really cool you like that. What do you guys use? Small fans or AC? Okay, now let's start rumbling. I should have a thing that I could spawn like a chupacabra, you know, for clearing out enemies. Not that you have to, for example, call the function kill all AI units, because that thing then only kills the AI units that are like in the list. It'd be cool if I would have like a spike ghoul when I would like to test the games and killing and all the stuff like that normally. I'd spawn that thing, make it super fast, super strong. We'd call it like, yeah, you could summon your own rabbit army, exactly. Feral rabbits on steroids. This one was quite close to the edge. I wonder if he was placed there by repositioner or not. Also in the corner. We're gonna test it out at least a couple of times before I give it a green light. I don't know why I'm saying this. I think it's not gonna have a green light for a while, but that's okay. Didra fell asleep, guys. So that means that we killed all the units. I just want to see what's going on here. This doesn't trigger anymore. Okay, what's gonna happen if we go to the next level? Let's go. Aha, move unit to safe position. What's going on here? second. Big slime. I guess the slimes are spawning somewhere then. I was trying to remember what was so awesome about your mask that only show up in Fog of War for enemy positions. It came to me when I was playing Atomcraft and I jumped, spin the drill down and said let's play Dig Dug. Your monsters have the mask and it reminds me of when the Dig Dug monsters teleported to one of your tunnels. Huh. Aha, yeah, I get it now. We have slimes also here spawned. Sorry about that, 23. Still looking on that. So you like the Fog of War masks? Glad you like them. There's something similar to that in Atomcraft. Dig Dug. Okay, we're playing the same game basically now. And I'm running again. Ooh, we have to toggle it. Toggle the God mode. I think that the repositioner was kind of working now. Oh, 23. You keep the streams entertaining always. The warring factions. Hey, you know what? What if I try to spawn the zombies? We can test if it works now. If I try to, for example, level spawn unit, zombie out of bounds, like 5 of them, team 2, and offset like 48. That should spawn them on the right from our position. Yeah, they're repositioned, guys. This is freaking awesome. This thing is working every 2 seconds. The system is freaking working. Now this is now here. I think we got it. I tested out on the units that I actually kind of spawned that were out of bounds. Okay, this mask probably. Something was invisible here, I don't know why. But I think that if we're going to travel now down and kill all the remaining mobs, look at that. See, they're creeping all here, but that means that they're good. They're not anymore getting stuck, I believe, and I also believe that this is going to fix the snip spawning outside sometimes, getting stuck in the wall. As I mentioned earlier, this is like, yeah, you're putting painkillers on the issue. It's not fixing the root cause, but it prevents the thing to go from going very wrong, you know. Painkillers FTW, right? For the wind. That was a box monster. Oh, they're fighting with Anna here. Well, I didn't see that Didra would fall down. Just a second. Or did I miss it? Did it say that Didra fell asleep? I don't know, guys. Did it? Units count is 8. There's like 80 units, but it's not iterating over them anymore in terms of like... Well, the trap monsters, they don't count actually as units. Traps are traps. I usually send a notification Deidre fell asleep, so it's visible on screen. I don't have to print it. I just have to pay attention if the correct message triggers. I didn't see it now, or I completely missed it. No. Oh, for crying out loud. I was getting too happy too early. What's going on here? I have units. 8 units. Character body, what is that? Okay. Let's see units, all of the units that we have. Count 8. First one is what? AI bool equals false. That's player. That's okay. Second one is AI true. This is probably Anna or trap monster. Who is that? Mini mutant slime. Mini mutant slime. Why would you be out of bounds? I don't really know. But the one that's messing is this dude. What is that? Floor snap through an exception. Okay, what's going on here? I think that some cleaning up is not working well. Unit, data resource, mini skeleton archer man. So this is like the third index. Units out of 3. And if I check, is instance valid? It's not valid anymore. What happens with it? What if I take a look at the health system? Why isn't it cleaning itself out? We have a leak. And that leak is not good. So we have like stale entries in the list of the units. But this units list should always be cleaning itself. Like, remove all. On player died. No, this is only on player died. What about this one? On unit died. Oh man, it could be invalid before I trigger on unit died. That's also wrong. I should be removing it anyway. Much earlier before I return. This could be causing the issue. So if it's already invalid, it should be going out. What's with the unit player then? And that's the pain. Yeah. Can you print when it's asleep? The thing is that it's not asleep. I just have it in the list. That's the problem. But if I take a look at it now, also in the list regarding the road arena controller, I get spawned enemy IDs also here. This one is the biggest blocker. I wonder what's stored in here. One second. Road arena controller. If I get a reference to it, I have it. And here I have like, it's private, right? Spawned enemies IDs. Can I get access to it? 1. Huh. Then let's take the 0 out. Hash set too long, I can't get the indexed version of it. Don't have the same operations as I do on the lists. But if we go to spawned enemies first, let's see if we can call first. I know we get it. But if I call is instance valid, this will be false probably. Instance ID valid. It's not valid anymore. Now, why this doesn't trigger? Why? Because I check on unit dead, but unit died. What is emitting this one? If I take a look at dot and unit died, this is coming from the health system here. If it's unit AI, I emit this thing here. And then on unit died, where am I subbing to this thing? I'm subbing to it from all sorts of directions. Now either this unit die didn't trigger? What's the possibility of this not triggering? Because the Q3 of the unit comes almost certainly from... Just a second. Unit Q3. Do I call it somewhere like that? That unit state. It comes only from here. Exactly. And that's how it should be. And if I go to health system, do I have Q3? No, I don't. And that's okay. Huh. But I set the state to that. So if the health... Okay, if the health is less than 0, I mean... less or equal to 0, I simply emit signal died, and then I start emitting also the global, on the global bus, unit died signal. That's one thing. Then the other one, this one sets the unit state to dead, and we have like time passed and corpse cleanup time. When we have the unit long enough time on the ground, we queue it free. So in theory this means, I mean, I always wait for a while. Like, time passed, corpse cleanup time is bigger. It's 5 seconds before we clean it up from the ground. So by the time that already triggers, this unit died, event should trigger. But man, why the hell is there still an old reference in the freaking old dictionary? I mean list, hash set. On check unit that. It's like the last one. Huh. What do we have here? Number of spawned units remaining. What is that? Lawnmower resource. Let me clear this one up. Okay, at least I know for which bug I have to look. Rubber ducking. Level is the first one we need. Dead unit state. Second one. And the third one that we're looking at is health system. Those three are related. And I'm gonna try also the GBD. So health and dead and level. This isn't random, this is a life cycle event ordering bug. You actually have two separate failure paths that can leave IDs stuck in spawned enemies entities. To keep spawned entities clean. But your cleanup of units happens here. Yeah, problem 1, Q3 without guaranteed unit died. If a unit gets freed without firing, unit died, edge cases, interruptions, bugs, scene changes, or the signal is emitted after you've unsubscribed, controller stopped listening. The ID never gets removed from spawned enemies' IDs. I know about that one. Async spawning race. Unit could die before being added, or die before Road Arena controller subscribed. Huh, that one shouldn't happen. Subtle but important instance ID reuse, invalid state. You're using hash set you long spawned enemies IDs, but get instance ID is only valid while object exists. Once freed, Godot can reuse IDs later. So your set can contain stale IDs. IDs that no longer map to anything. Even though enemies are visually dead, your set still contains IDs. So this never passes, okay. What are the recommendations for the fix? Remove dependency on unit died as the only cleanup. Add a failsafe cleanup when unit exits the tree. Spawned enemies add spawned unit. Ooh. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna have to take a break. Definitely family at home. We'll work on it a bit later, but I think it would be good if we repay the favor to somebody, that we go in and raid somebody. There's like 13 of you guys, so if you guys know about a streamer that's also like a developer, we're looking for small ones. I'll be invading. 23, do you know about somebody that could use a help? Software, looking for small streamers. Game Boy. Low to high, let's see, who's the low one? Babushka Game Dev, what is that? That's a girl there. But he already has like 9 viewers, that's not low. Go to C#, Zelda like. Evo. Is he speaking? Ah, it's a German channel, I can take you there. That'd be bad karma. I mean, not bad karma, but you wouldn't understand the thing probably. We have to go for the English ones. Mm-hmm. Still looking, still looking. '58 followers, right? Okay. So, do I type raid slash something or slash raid and then the nickname, something like that? Raid channel, okay, okay. Uh-huh. Okay. We're repaying the favor. Let's see what's the dude all about. But I'm gonna have to, like...
medication for that, but like I need some time.
Here we go. Alright guys, I'm gonna have to leave.